Okay, we'll call the meeting to order at 10:02.
Getting later all the time.
Is there any additions to the agenda?
Mr. Chairman, we sent out an agenda package, but there is the 8.5, which is marked on your agendas, which is a request for decision to consider the fire agreements with the town of Stettler. And item 13.6, consent agenda items, is the community report Q2 from the Stettler RCMP.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I will move it with the additions, and just if we can, I do have to leave a little bit early, and I understand you have to leave a little bit early. So if we can, if there's anything that needs to be moved around in the agenda, I'm okay with it. If everybody else is okay with it, that we can move forward and get her done.
Appreciate that. Yeah, we have another meeting at 3:15, so that's nice. Okay, we have a question on the table. All in favor? That will be carried. Deputy Reeve swearing in ceremony. 3.1, Councilor Nyberg, November 1st, 2023 to June 30th, 2024.
Where do you want to do it at?
We usually do it right at your seat. Did you bring that form? That
Got it.
yeah. Oh, you got. Okay.
Give it a check.
I'm gonna run around trying to find this form.
You gave it to me like a week ago.
Just start. Are you ready? Okay. I, James Nyberg, solemnly swear and truly declare and affirm that I will honestly, faithfully, and to the best of my ability exercise the powers and duties according to the law, the office of Deputy Reeve for the County of Stettler, number 6.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That TV's on.
Thank you.
Nice snowstorm. Okay. Thank you, CEO Cassidy. Minute approval for our regular council meetings, October 11th, 2023, and the council organizational meetings, October 11th, 2023. Councilor Grover.
Move.
Any questions, concerns? Call the question, all in favor? That would be carried.
You're taking both 4.2 and 4.1 for that?
Yes, yes, we are.
Yeah, that's what you took. Yeah.
Public hearings are, we've got them at 1 o'clock, one to start and then one to follow. Delegations, we have a delegation coming in at 10:30, the Stettler Public Library for their budget review. So we will move on to new business. Request for decision, PCPS contract renewal, page 4 of the package, 8.1.
For this one, Mr. Chair, if we could move that to just before we consider the bylaws, right after lunch, we'll have the same staff available that is here to speak to the bylaws.
So after lunch, okay.
So, Mr. Chairman, I do sit on the board, and I'm not sure if we, unless staff is really wants to be here for that, I'm not sure we would need it. We could move forward with it, I think. It's up to you guys, whatever, from a staff point of view.
Yeah, I would like to give Craig this.
Okay, fair enough. Yep.
Mr. Teal did for, so. Yeah. 8.2, request for decision, tax penalty cancellation, page 14 of the package.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Sharon, did you want to speak to this?
Sure, I can. We received a request in from a ratepayer asking for consideration of waiving the penalty, November penalty 2023, where they had mailed their checks on October 13th from a rural roadside mailbox, along with several other bills. And they realized that none of their checks had reached their destination. And they are basically looking for the checks and mail through the postal system. They believe possibly that the rural box had been broke into and their mail had been taken, but they're still in the process of looking for it. Since then, we have received a check in from this ratepayer for the taxes. So they are looking for or consider tax forgiveness. for the November penalty. The recommendation that the County of Stettler forgive the November 1st, 2023 penalty for roll number 456700 in the amount of $324.39, and for roll number 4570 in the amount of $40.29, or the county can confirm the November penalty for roll number 4567 in the amount of $324.39 and roll number 4570 in the amount of $40.20. Or county council could forgive a portion of the penalty. In considering this, also, council, if you can consider that we may have other requests for forgiveness of penalty, and in all, that it's equitable between the rate players.
Concerns, comments? Councilman Everett?
This is, I mean, quite an extraordinary one. I don't know that, of no fault of their own, they actually did mail it well in ahead advance. I don't know. I'm not one that I would say normally giving out the forgiveness, but in this case, I would make the motion that we forgive this as extenuating circumstances.
The one request I would have is any rural route addresses that maybe if this was a case with this one, that go forward, we maybe send a note with it on how we should be paying. Because I actually can't believe they still can mail out of those boxes, or, you know, you think of the security piece.
Yeah.
People are breaking into post offices and then we got these mailboxes sitting there. And that would be the old style, I'm sure, with the, like you just pull the door up. Councilor Grover?
I know here, I forgot, I didn't have my key, I got the wrong truck. And they won't give you, even with my driver's license, they won't give me my mail now. So they've had trouble with that here in town too, so do what you want.
Left the key for my ID, they bring it out for me.
But this is one sitting on the road.
Yeah.
Like, I have a problem sometimes forgiving taxes because they forgot or got busy and didn't do it. But this is totally different. They mailed it in the middle of the month, and being the security of rural boxes isn't so good. Someone must have lifted it, which is really sad, kind of sign of the times. But I'm actually in support of Councillor Nyberg's motion that in this case, I mean, if they've mailed it, that's not their fault.
To administration, or could we put something out with our next notices to the rural route addresses?
Picking out specific addresses would be very difficult.
We'd have to do a stuffer.
But doing a stuffer across the board is
Or in our county?
yeah.
Mr. Chairman, I think this will go to a larger consideration. We had talked a little bit about maybe doing, moving that date to the November 3rd date and then doing some education portions on it, because, and the one that was brought up with me is if the individual gets their government check on the 31st, and then how do they make sure that they get it put in? Because sometimes it comes on the 1st, right? So I think there's some conversation we can have on a go forward basis on education of how you can pay that. And we do make it fairly easy for people to pay us.
Councilor Grover?
We're already one of the latest counties that have it set back to the, already some of them paid in June. I think the date should stay where it's at, and people don't, oh, well, I thought I had to the 3rd, I thought I had to the 4th, it was a weekend. I think we should leave it alone and live with it.
That's a discussion we can have in another meeting for sure.
Councilor Gender?
It says that the ratepayer has reissued a check to the county and we have received it. When did we receive it?
I mean, when did we receive the check from them?
Yeah, the reissued check. They said that they reissued a check. So
They reissued it and we received it shortly afterwards because she took it to she took it right into the post office and mailed their stuff. From,
And they paid the penalty also on it?
I believe it's just the total amount of the arrear, of the current. I'd have to check again, Ernie.
Okay. Thanks, Sharon.
Okay, any other questions? I'll call the question. All in favor? Carried. Request for decision, tax penalty cancellation, page 16.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Sharon, do you want to take this one also?
Again, we received a letter from a ratepayer asking for us to waive the interest penalty applied to their account on November 1st. This one, had received a payment on a numbered company account, and I had contacted them because there was such a difference in the amount to see whether they wanted a refund, what they wanted in regards to. In conversation, she mentioned that they had that payment was supposed to go to their personal account, not to their numbered company account. So she had used the wrong roll number to pay her personal. In conversation, she mentioned that she had not received her tax notice for her numbered company. And I looked it up, and we had received it back in the mail from the post office. It had the same mailing address as their personal taxes with a numbered company. We have no way of tracking who is the owner other than the numbered company and a box number. And until we had received that payment, then I had a contact number to talk with the ratepayer. In her letter, she's mentioned that she's talked with the post office in her area and told them that to include the numbered company in their box, not to send it back. So I don't know if it was an error on the post office or what, but with your tax notices, once they're mailed after 7 days, you're deemed to have received it unless you contact us. We've put notifications out in the paper, in our county connections. If you have not received your tax notice, to please give us our office a call. We'll send a new notice out to you or email it to you so you have a copy of it. So that's just a little bit of the background in regards to these two accounts. So the recommendation is to forgive the November 1st penalty for roll number 581901 in the amount of $180.20, or the county can confirm the November penalty of $180.20 for roll number 581901, or that the county forgive a portion of the penalty. Again, if council can take into consideration the other, we may receive other requests in regards to cancellation of taxes, that it's equitable amongst the ratepayers.
Thank you. Comments? Mr. Chairman, I'll give you, I guess, a comment on this. And this one is a little different to me as a corporate individual. I'm in my tax. I know my taxes are coming up. It's not something that I typically would have forgot about. I would have known generally what last year was. I know people get busy. I definitely understand that. But at the same time, our taxes are due. And I'm leaning in the opposite direction of this one because, this individual has been with us a number of years, correct? This isn't a brand new tax roll?
Correct. They've been both with us for several years.
So this one is a tough one for me, so.
Any other comments? Councilor Gender?
I'd say if you received one, you know the second one's coming. You'd be able to look into it. So I guess I look at number 2, that is that we confirm the penalty, 180. I thought we were always supposed to go the opposite way, but guess I will go that way, please.
And I would be a little bit, Mr. Chairman, if I could, if they would have came in and paid their last year's amount or online paid their last year amount and then said, well, you know, I tried to attempt to pay it, that may have been a different story for me. But in this case, I mean, I'm thinking there was I get it, it's an error, but I mean, on the same token, I don't know. Unfortunately, I've been in this situation, and the only person that I can blame is myself. I try to blame my accountant and my bookkeeper, but when you're pointing that finger, it's 4 pointing back at you. Yeah, exactly.
Councilor Grover?
Motion to,
Oh, we've got a motion on the table. Okay, to keep, that motion is to keep to confirm the taxes.
My comments are in support of the previous two councilors, because when you have two tax notices coming and you only get one, it really is on the onus of the landowner to phone the municipality and ask for that amount if it didn't come. And I know this time the post office did probably make a mistake returning it to the county, but I think it clearly states that it is on the onus of the landowner or whatever. If they don't get the tax notice, it's up to them to find out what their taxes are. So especially with getting one, that was a perfect reminder that the taxes were due on October 31st, and they maybe should have followed up to see where the other one was or what the amount was.
Any other questions, concerns? Call the question, all in favor? That would be carried. Okay, request for decision, 8.4, re-water hookup request, page 18.
Do you want to do this one or Sharon or?
I think maybe Sharon's got a little bit more background on
Sharon,
this.
better background? Sharon, good thing you came today.
Okay, we received a request for water hookup on the southwest of 214120, west of the 4th. It's under a plan 212099, block 1, lot 1. They're looking at getting the water hooked up. The general information is the ratepayer is directly south of our water line. There's two options. Council may construct the line far enough south to be on the border or where it comes across level with the main house. The cost of this option would come out to be $35,800. If the water line was shortened to just 75 meters south of where the main line is and have the meter vault set there, the budget would be around $23,500. And there's no amount budgeted in the 2023 for the additional expense for either one of these options. The recommendation, I guess, for this is council authorize administration to construct a water line for plan 2120944, block 1, lot 1, on the south to the southwest of 214120, with the expenses of up to $15,000 to be funded from the revenue from connection fees, and the remaining balance of the total for $35,800 worth of construction to come from reserves. Or option 2, that council authorize administration to construct a water service connection again to the same property, up to $15,000 to be funded from the revenue from connection fees, and the remaining balance of $23,500 worth of construction to come from reserves. Or that council direct administration to defer consideration of this connection to the future planning. This ratepayer has lost their water there. They've had problems with their well. They've basically unhooked from the well, and I don't know if they're hauling water right now from the transfer station there, just at White Sands. So I guess at the end of the day, your financial is your financial costs.
Thank you, Councilman Everett. Councilor.
Just so that in the red line that I'm looking at, there already is water existing or not? That's just the second, that's to delineate the two different.
Yeah.
Okay, so now, what about the property to the north, the acreage there? Is there a possibility, is it not the same person that owns both these?
It's within the same family anyways.
So would it be advantageous for them to hook up water to both spots and then, because you're not drilling a well on that other area for sure. I'm just wondering if it makes sense that they go and, if they did two hookups, you're almost there. That's what I'm thinking. Like, it can't be a whole lot different cost for us.
Right now, with the ownership, the one on the balance of the quarter is a different owner than the acreage, but they're in the process of subdividing the house out where the owner would be the same as the north acreage. But that subdivision has not.
So I would think that maybe this is a conversation that staff should have with these folks and say, here's the situation where we're at. If you do two hookups, this is pretty much a wash and it's a guaranteed. If you'd only do the one hookup, it's, I mean,
Like it could, I could see the one hookup being that red line just across the road and just a short stub south, so that acreage, that north acreage can have water. But if it's the south acreage that needs it, this would almost have to be put in the queue, the same as all the rest of our
that's
projects.
where I'm at. And that's where I'm saying that, Larry, is I'm agreeing with you on that. In the case of the ones that there's no financial burden to the county's coffers, it's pretty much a wash. We can make it happen. But when there is a financial burden, I'm kind of at that first come, first serve situation too. And I understand these guys are tight for water.
I'll let Sharon speak and then.
Just to update you a little bit more, you mentioned the acreage to the south will no longer be in existence because it's being amalgamated back into the quarter.
I'm talking the acreage with the house on it.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, Councilor Gender?
Is there another let residence further south than that?
There is.
It'd be a good chunk further south at that point though.
This request came through Councillor Stevens, because the owner approached him first, and then he contacted me, and I put Sharon and Andrew on it. So he's much more familiar with what they're thinking. If you wanted to wait until,
And he'll be here in the next half hour, I
yeah,
think.
until he
Sharon?
To let you know, to the quarter south of that, they had asked for water, but now it's changed ownership, and I don't know what the new owner, whether they would look at water or not.
That's still another half mile of line. Councilor Grover?
Yeah, I think you should put it back to them that if they would have two hookups. And I would take it back. I know who this is. Take it back to them, tell them if they get two hookups, that'll wash and no problem. If they want to go the one way, it's going to cost them 23 or 35,000 to put water in. That's the end of it. Like that's straightforward. What we do for the rest, we have to do for them. But if they have two hookups, then it's a go.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Two hookups would make it much more feasible. But my question to administration is on the blue line, it's not a whole bunch past, but if the meter vault were placed right at the driveway entrance, it would shorten the blue line slightly. Is that an option?
I mean, anything's an option. It doesn't save a ton of money by any means.
Not.
The red line option is basically bring it right to the balance of the quarter section's, northernmost boundary, and then that sort of southeast shot would be the responsibility of the landowner. So that's effectively the cheapest option for the county. And then we brought blue forward just so that we could show you what that would look like as well, in case that was a route you guys wanted to pursue.
Question back to administration though too, is where we see that line, just where the red just about ends. Does that acreage with the house start right at that point?
I believe that's what MPC just approved.
We just went through it, remember, because that would be their other option too, is you run it to that point, if the red one is taking it, and they have to run the rest of it, eh?
It still becomes more advantageous because at 23,000, we're going to have, we're $8,000 out of pocket, and I'm still back to that first come first serve. If you buy two on this case, it's a done deal. But if you're only going to get one, now I'm going to have to take money out of coffers, and it becomes should I be, and I can't help but think, is there other ones that we denied because, it was 10,000, 8,000, where does that break point would be?
Okay, Councillor Gender, Councillor Grover, and then Councillor Stolberg.
We only stop at the red line, the acreage with the house. They've got a lot further that they're going to have to bring in the line in. So that could be the difference in there. And I'm very much with you, James, that we should be looking at two, and it's a wash. And also, like, it was just the size of line. I'd like to be able to know, like, what size of line that they're putting in.
That was quoted out as that'd be a 3-inch line.
Yeah, and we also put T's in that line when we came down that 20-4 and then went down Bayview Street, because this owner had kind of in the future planned to hook up. So at the time he asked us if we could put a T in there, we did.
That's good then.
Councillor Grover?
I said before, I think we should take it back to these people and see if they want to have two. And if they don't want it, and it's 23, then I don't think we're going in coffers. I think it's in their coffers. It's where that money's going to come from, not out of general revenue. Thank you.
Councillor Stolberg?
I think Councillor Stevens has ESP because he just sent me a text. And he says he's late for the water connection discussion, but he said the applicant just paid $17,000 for into the rural development fund when they made this acreage subdivision. So he said he figures that should be in the consideration that they've contributed already. So just a point of discussion from Councillor Stevens.
Mr. Chairman, and I will, as much as Mr. Stevens and I seem to get along most times, I will respectfully disagree with him because there's a different matter for that. I mean, if that was the case, our industrial people that pay the most in taxes would be the guys that would be the first online. And I unfortunately, if you're looking at it, that's a different envelope of money.
Well, and there is the financing option for these tie-ins also, so it is very affordable if you don't have a well. Stolberg?
Yeah. Well, then I will make a motion that administration bring this or take this back to the applicant with the discussion of all the options that they may have now, because I think it would be to their advantage probably if they considered another option.
Any other questions? Call the question, all in favor? Be carried. Thank you, Sharon. 8.5, request for decision, fire agreement with the town of Stettler. It's in additions package, page 4.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Andrew?
I would happily take this. So we, as you all know, we have been working with the town since basically the beginning of this year, although we go further back and identified a need to revisit this agreement as far back as 2020 when we developed the ICFs, and we had put that on the schedule in the ICF for right away in 2020, and it's now 2023. but I'm very happy to say that we have worked with the town quite extensively. We had the successful mediation back in the spring summer range, and that formed a memorandum of understanding that settled it and set the framework for this agreement to come forward. So this new agreement, primarily what it does is provides a clearer definition of the roles and responsibilities of everyone involved, and that it decentralizes a lot of the responsibilities, and we can do that now because we've restructured the management there. So the town and county each have municipal chiefs with a regional manager to oversee the joint concerns and the coordination of the system. So a lot of details to it. Obviously, it's quite a lengthy agreement. The town and the county had an opportunity with joint councils to take a look at this agreement, and some minor changes were proposed and have been incorporated, which were mostly just cleanup items. So administration is recommending approval, following which we would let the town know your decision, and the town will be considering it at their meeting next Tuesday.
Mr. Chairman, I would love to move this forward. I think it has been we can really put this in the realm of the town and the county working well together. I know we had a lot of naysayers, and we had a lot of people that were had opinions and maybe misinformed opinions, but this was something that we worked well together. The town partners and us got together. I think Mr. Clark and Mr. Stevens and myself, we rolled up our sleeves with the support of council. It was nice to have a council behind you with that support. And when we went into those negotiations, we came out with, I think, a very, very great deal. So for both parties and on a go forward basis. So I am happy to move this forward.
Yeah, I think this is a proud moment for the town and the county of Stettler to get this regional joint fire agreement with the level of detail that's in it. And, I think we all realize it's the best for the community, and I think this is what the community wanted. And the two municipalities have come forward with this agreement that I think, it couldn't be any better. And it's so clearly defined that it should be easy to operate and very efficient. So I'm very happy to support this motion.
Yeah, I was at that meeting and I made the motion to go ahead with it. I think if everything goes the way it's supposed to, it'll be good. And it hopefully does. And so now we've got one for the region. Or when are we going to put out an ad for our fire chief? Ministers.
There could be another discussion on our agenda. We should maybe have that on there, but I don't know if we had.
Asking a question, like, the sooner the better, probably.
This is for the agreement.
I can speak to that, certainly. So of course, as mentioned, the agreement now does establish a position for a county fire chief. We would like the manager to have some input into that. So we will likely be putting out the advertisement within the next couple of weeks, with the hope that when our manager starts, he'll basically be ready to hit the ground with a bunch of resumes and get that process kicked off right in the new year.
Good.
Any other questions? Not all. We have a motion on the table. I'll call the question. All in favor? And that would be carried. Okay, our delegation is here. I'm sorry if you were sitting out there for a bit, but do we need to do introductions, or you've been through this?
I think we're good.
Okay, well then, I think if you're doing a presentation, up to the podium, please. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for seeing us.
Great, I didn't get my presentation slides in on time, but I do have a handout if you'd like. I can leave that.
You have a USB with it at all? Okay, I can throw it up. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, no worries.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, he'll be here. He's coming.
So good morning, Reeve Clark, esteemed councillors and the members of the county administration. And we're really pleased to be here to present our 2024 budget. Of course, you know myself, I'm Rhonda O'Neill, the library manager, and this is Jane, our board chair. Oh. Okay. So at the heart of a community is the public library. It creates a vibrant hub where we meet people of all ages and all different interests. We offer access to information in order to empower people and make their lives better. For job seekers and community members who struggle with accessing technology in the digital world, we are there to provide one-on-one assistance for them to access the information they need. As a community hub, we're often one of the first organizations to welcome newcomers to the community. They will frequently seek us out, sign up for memberships, and through us, they'll learn what other services and organizations are available to them in the community. And they'll also meet other local people who share the same interests and form friendships that help retain them in the community. A number of our programs focus on healthy living. We've added a few seniors yoga. We've got our Minds in Motion program. We're doing nutrition classes with AHS registered dietitians, and we've done a few cooking classes, which are always popular, especially during the last month, Culture Days celebrations in September. And we're in the business of promoting literacy for all ages. So literacy for everyone has an impact in the socioeconomic status. It contributes to the overall socioeconomic development of the community. And in uncertain economic times, which we find we're in maybe a little bit right now, it offers a lifeline for people who might not have the financial resources to access information or recreational opportunities, especially for families with many, many kids. It can be very expensive to get out and about, and the library is a place where they can come and enjoy free resources and programs. So this year, 2023, has proven like we're on an upward trend, recovering still from the 2020, 2021 years. Our circulation at the end of October was 73,000, which when compared to our circulation for the entire year, 2022, at just almost 82,000. I think we're going to exceed that again this year. So it seems to be on an upward trend year over year. Sorry. Our memberships, active memberships, they're up as well this year from 1,199 or 1,200 people to 1,400 active cards. Now that might seem like a decline because we were, I think, probably close to 2,500 in previous reports, but the way that statistics are now gathered, they're only counting the active cards that are used during the fiscal year, which for us, because families will often share one card, it means that those statistics have dropped. But when we look at other libraries within the Parkland region and across Alberta, they're experiencing the same drop in statistics. And so we're really doing okay there anyway. Library visits.
I could ask a question on that?
Sure.
Like, I know there was a lot of colonies, like our colonies and stuff. Does that just include one for them too then? Date for each one of the colonies, would it be one also for the membership?
Not one for the colonies, because we do we provide outreach to the children at the colony schools, and each child would have a card there. Yeah.
Thank you.
But in terms of their parents or people who are over the age of 15, when they come to the library, they will often share one card. Okay. So library visits, they're up. We were at 56, close to 57,000 visits in 2023. That was to the end of October, which has surpassed what we did in 2022 by about 1,000. We've got 2 months to go. Our programs are up. We offered 477 programs to the end of October with 5,000 guests, and that outstrips last year. We had 414 programs with 4,400 guests. And demand for programming is out there. We are constantly being bombarded with opportunities to collaborate with other organizations in the community, and people will come to us with ideas of programs they'd like to see. So we try to respond and offer a little something for everyone. It's just busy.
If I may interrupt, perhaps you could tell council that because of the demand in programming, that the library has moved the programmer position from a part-time to more of a full-time.
Yeah, our programming position previously, we just hired in, I guess, September, October, a full-time programmer, so at 30 hours a week, whereas our last program coordinator was working 20 hours a week, and that was just because all our staff kind of take a hand in different programs. But it gets to be that there's so many balls in the air, you really need someone who's going to coordinate it all. And then as well on Saturdays, that's a day that we haven't really been able to offer a lot of quality programming because there's not really someone on staff to run those programs. So now we have someone, and so we're going to be looking forward to family story times and then programs for children in the afternoon. So we're hoping, it was a very busy weekend over there this weekend, and we were closed because of the statutory holiday. But with the hockey tournaments, there's a lot of kids running around, and I think they could benefit from having some structured activities available throughout the day. So, yeah. So I had a little bit about how our library compares to other libraries in terms of circulation statistics. And I know the numbers are a little small on the handout and on the screen, but you can see that Stettler Library had a total of 84,000, I guess, circulations last year. And when we compare it to other communities, you'll see that I'm thinking that doesn't match with, oh no, well, it's close, but there are differences in how the numbers are tabulated for annual reports. So I can investigate why that is right here, and we can provide that information after the fact.
That population, is that the town of Stettler or the county of Stettler?
That's the town of Stettler, but when we compare it to the other populations, they're only counting the town or the city as well. They don't, so really I tend to feel that because we're combined to bring us up to about 12,000, in fact, what we're being compared to are towns with counties on top of that, and the towns are much larger than Stettler in terms of, like when we look at Blackfalds, that's the city of Blackfalds population. And they would also have people coming in from the county, Lacombe County, using their library. Perhaps not as many as Stettler because we're a little bit further east and we draw from a large geographic region. But when you look at how many are living in Blackfalds and their statistics compared to how many are living in the town of Stettler and our statistics, and even Sylvan Lake, it's the same thing. There would be people coming to that library from the county as well. And so it's hard. We're comparing apples to oranges in many cases, but I think our statistics are quite good for our size, and quite comparable to other locations within the Parkland region. And I'm sorry, I don't have more comparable data from outside the Parkland region, but those stats aren't available for 2022 yet. So then community impact, I wanted to highlight a few initiatives and outreach efforts that we undertook in 2023 that we're really pleased with. We received a small grant from AHS to run a soaring pilot project. Some of you may be familiar with this project. It's to strengthen outcomes and resilience for youth aged 12 to 24. And so we've engaged the youth through a large survey of students through William E. Hay, and we did a couple of focus groups. And our youth leaders determined that mini golf would be the project that would support what the youth wanted, which was outdoor activities that were fun and healthy. So we're very excited because the students at the William E. Hay construction program are currently building these mini golf courses. And so we just need to find a place to put them. We're in talks with the museum.
My apologies for being late, but I can tell you the museum is very excited about that partnership. So when you talk about collaboration, that we see that as a huge bonus for the museum as well, to try and draw in more people.
I think it's amazing that we've been able to work with a number of organizations, Heartland Youth Center, the Stettler Family Resource Network, the Caring and Resilient Students, and now with the museum as well, and William E. Hay to bring this project to the community.
And on the topic of your programming, this is the time of year where I spend considerable amount of time at the rec center, and I can confirm that there is a pile of kids, and I think it's more a comment on society with more and more two working parents and that sort of thing. The library has turned into one of those stopgaps, if you will, on that after-school child care. There's as well as the youth center, and there's a few that are sort of filling in the gaps.
No shortage of place need, I guess, the students. Another outreach initiative we had this year was one that we're particularly proud of, and it involved the county, and that was the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. We were able to, thanks to a timely message from Nikki, we were able to collaborate with the Stettler and area circle, friendship circle, to provide a whole day of programs, and it was a very wonderful day. And it's crucial for our community to engage in learning and acknowledging our shared history, to lay the foundation for moving forward and healing past injustices. So we were very pleased to partner with the county on that. And our outreach to the colonies is still going strong. It's operating on a high level. We're assisting teachers in Donalda, Erskine, Gadsby, White Sands, and Bymore to access books for their students. We only visit Erskine, Gadsby, and White Sands in person, but the teachers are now coming to the library from Donalda and Bymore to pick up books, and so we're making those shipments available. So supporting municipal priorities, fostering economic growth, job creation, and entrepreneurship. We provide access to business-related books and information. We offer internet, computers, printing, assistance with technology, and we provide assistance with market research. We have a database through Parkland called Grant Connect, so we're able to connect people with information about grants that are out there that they could access. Attracting and retaining residents, including medical and fire personnel. It's well known that when people are looking at a community to move to, they look at what's available, theaters and libraries and pools and arenas and all that sort of thing. So we're part of that package of what attracts residents to a community. And we offer lots of family programs and resources that can also be attractive. Let's see. By providing, the county wants to provide access to resources to improve the overall health and welfare of residents, and the library helps do that by providing books on healthy living, wellness practices, and other health topics, and as well our programming, gentle yoga, yoga nidra, nutrition. We've got supper time survival coming tonight. That should be a good one. And then promoting recreational activities to give people alternatives, especially for adults. we have a lot of different programs, movies and crafts and different courses. Last March we did fly tying. You know, we try to mix it up and offer a little something for everyone, and that gives people an alternative to get out and meet people in pursuit of mutual interests that are healthy. And so our residents agree that libraries are important. We survey them every April at the trade show, and this is some of the feedback we've received. And a recent survey administered through TrendWatch Alberta found that 81% of people surveyed in April 2023 agreed or strongly agreed with the statement, "I see value in public libraries." So even if they don't use them, they see the value for others who might not have the financial means to sign up for Audible and get all their books on Amazon. So let's get to the budget. I guess that's the important bit. We can see that there's been a bit of a jump to the bottom line, and I could go through it line by line, but we're spending slightly more on books in 2024. We receive good discounts through Parkland, but there is inflation there, and so like everyone else, we have to deal with that as part of our budget. Insurance costs are also up. They rose in 2022, and we're not yet sure what they're going to be in 2023, but that trend has been upward. The requisition we paid to Donalda and Big Valley is going up slightly just to because of the increase in the provincial operating grant. But we've reduced expenses too where we can. We have changed the way we print our brochures so that we're saving money on printing costs. And we've also changed to voice over internet for our phones, which saves us a lot of money. As we mentioned earlier, a big part of that cost increase is making a full-time program coordinator. And so investing in community enrichment, lifelong learning, as you can see in the bottom line, we're not asking for an increase this year. We're hoping to maintain the county requisition at the same level. And that is because we have been awarded larger grants from the province, and that impacts our Parkland allotment as well. So there is money there to cover the increase. So yeah, we hope that we've demonstrated the value of the library to the community and the people we serve. We're looking for your support of this budget, and well, thank you. I can take any questions.
Thank you. Is there any questions? Stolberg?
I just have a comment with the county use of the library being from Endiang, which is probably your furthest community from the library. When I was in there for a library event, I seen children from Endiang in the library, and they were in town. I know for Taekwondo, you could tell how they were dressed, but that they made that the extra time they used to do library stuff. So I thought, I mean, it's definitely well used throughout the county, and with the outreach programs to the colonies, that's another benefit to our county. So I'm very pleased to see, and it still ceases to amaze me at the growth of the library programs and what it offers, so much beyond books, which is still an important part, but the growth is immense, and I'm really quite impressed because I get that really bird's eye view sitting on the board, but and I'm actually also very impressed with the inflation and all costs going up. You're not asking for a cent more than last year, so that I think is quite refreshing in this day and age. So I'd also like to take this opportunity, being there is no increase, to make a motion that we approve the Stettler Library budget to be accepted into our budget.
Any questions or concerns on that? I'll call the question. All in favor? Carried.
I'd like to hear something from Jane.
What would you like to hear from me, Councilman? Anything specifically?
Just to say hi.
Looking today.
Come out, thank you, dear. You were so quiet there, and I'm just not used to it. I thought maybe you weren't feeling well.
No, it's been great.
Good.
I want to thank council for their continued support ongoing over the years and understanding of all the hiccups and bumps along the way. Rhonda has done an amazing job with her staff trying to keep this budget where we can, as reasonable as right size as we can, because it is difficult. There is a lot of changes in the in what's going on financially. There's also a lot of changes in need
place and loss of community areas and how the library becomes that community area and that community meeting place that gives a safe space for kids, for moms and tots and people that, as Ron says, marginal and struggling every day, because there's a lot of people out there struggling every day. And our library, with your support and support of the town, has become a really welcoming place. It's not a church library. It's not you don't belong here in library. It's an everybody place, and we want to continue that. And Rhonda, her excellent work and her excellent staff have made it a very welcoming place. So I would like to thank Rhonda and the council for all their work and support. So there you go. But you are looking great.
And so are you, dear.
Thank you.
Forgot to mention Wine Survivor is on this month, so I'm going to leave these with Councillor Stuhlberg. If you
We were just commenting on that.
No.
Business tickets.
We were asking where these were.
My sister won last year.
Yeah. And I think a couple of our councillors bought tickets in previous years and actually won a bottle, so.
There you go.
Yeah, mine was just a really little bottle.
Yeah.
I don't win anything.
So,
Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you very much,
thank you.
Rhonda and Jane. That's, okay. And we always certainly get lots of information about the library from their representative that comes back here.
He's a great guy.
He certainly brings it back and promotes it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we are into our reports. 12.1, Chief Administrator Officer's Report. Everybody's had a chance to look. Any questions? Clarifications? Chief Administrative Officer? Scroll. Move the report. Give people a second here to. Very good. Okay, got a motion on the table to move the report. I'll call the question. All in favor? Carried. Financial reports, 11.2.1 accounts payable register for September 30th, 2023. Bank reconciliations for 30th, 2023, October 31st, 2023. And 12.2.3 reserves for September 30th, 2023 and October 31st, 2023, which are pages 85 through to 108. Any questions on any of the financial reports? Councilor Gender?
I'll move them as presented, please.
Questions? I will call the question. All in favor? That would be carried. Councilor fee sheets, 12.3, page 109 of our package. Over.
I will move the councillor fee sheets as presented.
No questions? I'll call the question. All in favor? That would be carried. Councilor committee reports. We have 12.4.1 Stettler Public Library Board, Councilor Stevens. Okay. And then 12.4.2 Stettler FCSS, Councilor Stolberg. Any questions on those reports or any other things you'd like to bring to the table on?
I don't think I need to add any more than what Rhonda already did.
So,
You're gonna
Yeah, I'll make the motion to accept it.
call the question. All in favor? That would be carried. Consent agenda items. Caster organizational meeting update, which listed who would be on Shirley McClellan. Alberta Senior and Community Housing Association governance structure. Honorable Minister Mike Ellis, Stettler Regional Emergency Management Ministerial Order.
This is an exceptional milestone in this area, so.
Okay.
We've been working on it for some time, so we're actually glad to finally have.
Rural Municipalities of Alberta, extended producer responsibility. Starland County, appointment of Reeve. And 13.6, which was an addition, community report Q2. Any questions on it? Councilor Stevens?
I'll make a motion that we receive for information.
On the question, all in favor? That would be carried. Okay. Andrew, we're kind of,
Craig now, right?
you're letting Craig know so we can cover off on 8.1. We went through other than our bylaws and public hearings where everybody's
Didn't have to wait on those.
requests. Let's
I don't think the PCPS agreement's gonna take us a full hour either.
Mr. Chairman, I'll tell you that we can take a break right now.
All in favor?
We'll just recess.
Yeah, comfort break. All in favor? Carried. Yeah, we're adjourned. And just don't nod when you're ready.
What page are we on, Mr. Chairman?
8.1, request for decision, CP, or PCPS contract renewal, page 4.
Easy for you to say. I think we're into you, Mr. Teal.
Very much, Reeve Clark. So this is a follow-up from, a bit of a follow-up from conversation council had back in June of this year. PCPS is seeking input on the funding model. At that point, council made a resolution to pursue a tier 1 membership with PCPS. And now we're at the point where our renewal contract, which is kind of routine for the agency, they come up every 3 years. So our membership in the Intermunicipal Service Agency is what they're formally referred to. It consists of our adoption of the master agreement through bylaw. So we don't have to do that every year. We did that once back in 2020 when we chose to join the agency. And the second part to maintain membership eligibility is to enter into a service agreement. And the current one, we were on extension, which the CAO was able to authorize until PCPS was able to restructure the agreement, which is in front of you, to reflect their new funding model after they had a chance to consult with other members. So the option that's been recommended for consideration by council is that County of Stettler enters into the planning service agreement with Parkland Community Planning Services as presented. So just a bit more highlights on that. It does commit us to spending around $9,000 per year as the membership fee. And that is pretty much the extent of the binding financial commitment every each year of the 3 years. It's 3 and a bit, I mentioned, consider on a different calendar year than we are. So this has an extra quarter compared to a pure 3-year agreement, just to transition over to the new model. After that, it's our discretion on how much spending we send to the agency, although I will point out that if members don't send money to the agency and don't use the agency won't be around. So right now we do budget for approximately $60,000 worth of support from them on an annual basis. That number can go up, it could come down. It depends if we have additional projects that council wants to look at halfway through the project year. Over the course of a 3-year term, you don't know what will come up. What the membership fee does do is give us access to guaranteed planner rates for the 3 and a bit term running to March of 2027. So they'll be fixed at $140 for a planner, $165 for a senior planner. And the intent is to maintain those rates over the course of that 3 and a bit time period. So we certainly use PCPS right now to help us support mostly subdivision activity in terms of dealing with their applicants, dealing with site visits, and then on a project-specific basis. So I'll be asking them to help out on set tasks within the MDP and LUV review, one of which underway for building up some of the background materials that we'll need to launch that MDP review coming up most likely in the new year. With that, Reeve Clark would be happy to field any questions anyone have about the arrangement or the text of the agreement.
Is there any questions back to Mr. Teal?
So Reeve Clark, I think this is again one of those ones where the County of Stettler, we had a lot of input into how the new setup is. I think we Craig can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we have a lot of confidence in this setup and how it's going forward. I think Yvette got to have a look at it and Craig got to have a look at it when we were in the process of setting this up. So we definitely had some influence. Like I said, once again, the County of Stettler was, as usual, when we get involved with something, we're usually fully involved. I think this is a good opportunity for us to go forward. It gives us an option of being able to kind of take some of that side of the desk stuff off Craig and his group's plate. And I don't think he would argue that there's lots on his plate at any given time. So I think there's value for the dollar, and on a go forward, I'd make the motion that we definitely enter into the service agreement.
Any other questions? I'll call the question. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. As we go through the bylaw pieces, we've got 11.2.
Yeah, we could go to 11.2 for first reading. We'll set public hearing.
Set public hearing because it's got first, second, and third readings on
Yeah, that's just an error in the agenda. It should be first in public hearing. On page 25.
And I'm just, oh, there it is. Great. So maybe if we could jump to the sketch, please, Andrew. So Reeve Clark, members of council. So this bylaw is in response to a specific ask of a property owner to facilitate an expansion of an existing industrial parcel. So on the screen in front of you, you see the hatched area, which is the subject of the bylaw, to change that from agricultural district to industrial, with the intent that a concurrent subdivision application that's underway would then add that or separate that 2 acre area from the agricultural holding and add it to the industrial parcel to the immediate left, to the west of that hatched area. So the landowner is basically an applicant-driven application, and in those particular cases, I usually recommend that they're entitled to their kind of day at the hearing, so we get that scheduled, and recommend that first reading be given. Also, planning staff don't have any concerns with the proposed expansion of the industrial parcel.
Thank you. And what would be the date of our December council meeting?
December 13th.
December 13th?
Actually, can we scroll to the report body for a second? I think we may have, yeah. Oh, we had the 15th. No, it's 13th. An error on the second line, but December 13th would be the.
That's our council meeting, isn't it?
Well, one says the 13th and one says the 15th. Well, we're going with option.
I move that we go with staff recommendation 1, that we give bylaw 171223 first reading, and set the public hearing for 1 p.m. on December 13th.
Any questions, concerns? All question, all in favor? That would be carried.
Now the typo doesn't matter.
It's into the record. Okay. Now we are waiting for public hearing portion, are we not?
So, Mr. Chairman, again, I'll give us a recess till 1 o'clock.
Okay, all in favor? Convene the meeting. And the public hearing is open at 1:01. I welcome all participants. Do we have anybody called in?
I know.
Or do we need to?
No.
Okay. If I could ask the nature of the proposed amendment to be read into the record, it is bylaw 1709-23.
Yeah. So it was advertised, its notice is hereby given that the County of Stettler number 6 is proposing to amend bylaw 1443-10 as follows. A personal service facility on lot 2, block 2, plan 0620139 is added as a discretionary use in section 103 Highway Commercial District. The intent of the amendment is to add the use of a personal service facility to lot 2, block 2, plan 0620139 as a discretionary use. Bylaw may be reviewed at the County Administration Building located at 6602 44th Avenue, Stettler, Alberta, during regular office hours, 8:30 to 4:30, Monday through Friday. A public hearing to hear representation concerning bylaw 1709-23 is scheduled to be held today, Wednesday, November 15th, 2023 at 1 p.m. or as soon thereafter as possible in the council chambers at the County Stettler Administration Building. Any person wishing to make comment on the proposed bylaw may do so in writing to the Director of Planning Development, County of Stettler, Box 1270, Stettler, Alberta, TOC 2L0, or by email to cteal@stetlercounty.ca by November 15th, 2023, or they may make representation at the public hearing. Following the public hearing, council may proceed with second and third reading to approve the bylaw. Should you require any additional information, please contact the Planning and Development Department at 403-742-4441.
Okay. Thank you. The rules of conduct is written submissions shall be tabled first and read into the record. Anyone who can support or oppose the amendment will be given the opportunity to speak up to 5 minutes. Councilors may ask questions of. Testing? Okay. Councilors may ask questions of the speakers after each presentation for clarification purposes or direct questions to other presenters. There will be no debating between participants and presenters allowed, and any questions from the floor shall be addressed through the chair. Was there any written submissions?
Reeve Clark, we have not received any written submissions.
Okay. In either support or opposition?
Either support nor opposition, correct.
Have we had anybody call in?
Nobody has called in since we started.
So there'll be no verbal presentations then?
It appears not.
Any period of time, Andrew? Or?
I think given that it was well advertised and we are online and have been through the lunch hour and will be connected, that we should be fine to proceed.
Thank you. Is there anything from you, Mr. Teal?
Nothing further at this moment, Reeve Clark.
Okay. Is there any questions from council? And close this public hearing. Andrew? Yeah. Close this public hearing at 1:05. Okay. So then our next bylaw is 1711-23, partial road closure. We will. 1712?
It was advertised as 1711.
Yeah. Okay, so is that a correction? 17?
It's in the bylaw folder, 1711. Yeah.
It was on the.
Both 1711 and 17.
No, 1712 is the amendment to the land use bylaw we looked at this morning and gave first reading to and set public hearing for. This is, you have to look at the delegations, or not the delegations, public hearing under section 5 of 1711.
1711-23 is where I'd taken it from, so from section 5. The meeting is open at 1:06. And we have the nature of the proposed amendment be read into record.
Yeah, thank you. So the County of Stettler has prepared bylaw number 1711-23 Council gave first reading to bylaw 1711-23 at the October 11th, 2023 council meeting. The bylaw is now being circulated for further public review. Bylaw number 1711-23 is to propose a bylaw for the purpose of closing public travel on a portion of Prairie Avenue in the hamlet of Gatsby and creating title to portions of public highway in accordance with section 22 of the Municipal Government Act, chapter 26, revised statutes of Alberta 2000. A public hearing on the proposed bylaw has been scheduled for November 15th, 2023 at 1 p.m. or soon thereafter as possible. Copies of the proposed bylaw 1711-23 are available on the county website at stettlercounty.ca. If you are welcome to join the public hearing in the following ways: in person at the County of Stettler number 6 Administration Building, Council Chambers, on YouTube, youtube.com/StettlerCounty, by Zoom, stettlercounty.ca/Zoom, or by phone, 587-328-1099 with meeting ID 237-185-7702 and passcode 660244. The hearing will be chaired by the Reeve. Persons wishing to join by teleconference will be requested to state their name and address for the record upon being recognized by the chair. Council will hear verbal or written submissions from any person who claims to be affected by the proposed bylaw. Persons may make oral presentations in person, via Zoom, or via teleconference at the hearing, regardless of whether or not they have provided written comments prior to the hearing. A copy of the proposed bylaw is available on the county website at stettlercounty.ca. Comments on the bylaw may be submitted prior to the public hearing up to November 8th, 2023. For more information on the proposed bylaw or the upcoming public hearing, or to send in comments, please contact Sharon Larson, Tax and Assessment Clerk, County of Stettler number 6, Block 1270, Stettler, Alberta, TOC 2L0. That's Larson@stettlercounty.ca, or by phone at 403-742-4441, extension 124.
Thank you, Andrew. We went through the rules of conduct just a few minutes earlier, so are there any written submissions on this?
There is no written permission, no written documents to this public hearing. I received one inquiry from a ratepayer. I explained the location of the road closure, and they had no problem with it.
Have we had anybody,
No call-ins,
no verbal presentations?
no verbal presentation.
And once again, advertised very well and everything, so. Okay, so there's no submissions. Anything, any presentations from yourself, Mr. Teal? Or,
Clearly Sharon, yeah.
sorry, Sharon?
Just what we presented with the bylaw. Currently, the advertisements were put in the East Central November 2nd and 9th. The Stettler Independent were October 19th and 26th. And as Andrew had mentioned, it's also been on our website. And that's all I have at this point.
Okay, thank you.
Just add, Mr. Clerk, that this bylaw cannot yet receive second reading despite the public hearing, because for a road closure, we also require ministerial approval prior to second reading. So we need to do both public hearing and ministerial approval prior to second reading. So we'll have to wait until they get us a signature back on the bylaw before we can go to second.
Can we go to second but not third?
You cannot go to second.
I just want to make sure that was
Yeah.
clear, because that wasn't 100%.
Yeah.
Is there any other questions from council? Seeing none, we will close this public hearing at 1:10. Thank you. So then we, to item number 11, bylaws, 11.1, bylaw 1709-23 amendment to the land use bylaw for second and third reading, page 21 of our package.
Mr. Chairman, it's pretty straightforward. I'll give you a second reading.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilor Nyberg. Any questions, concerns? I'll call the question. All in favor? That would be carried. Councilor McKay,
I'll give you a third reading for this bylaw.
questions or concerns? I'll call the question. All in favor? And that is carried. Okay. Our next meeting is Wednesday, December 13th at 2023. And if anybody, does anybody else have anything they need to bring up? If not, I'd ask a question for Councilor Grover. Motion to adjourn, all in favor? That would be carried now. Thank you.